Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got a massive one today. We're gonna learn how to do Kryptonite by 3 Doors Down. So this one's pretty simple. Shouldn't take you too long to get through it. It does have a lot of overdubs and stuff in it, which I'm not gonna cover all those, just mainly the riffs, the chords, and then any of the solo stuff. So you're gonna hear a lot of acoustic overdubs and stuff like that. So all of that's not gonna be covered, but it's kind of like a live version, I guess. Now, before we get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Ring the notification bell so you know it's a new video. You can like and comment on it. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you really like what I do here on YouTube or anywhere online, please click the link in the description. That is the link to my Guitar Academy. That's how I can keep all this stuff going. So that link will give you a free 7-day trial. My academy is pretty much my online guitar school. All of my courses, you get just one subscription, you get full access to all of them. There's courses for complete beginners and then more advanced courses on technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, guitar tone. I'm live there every Saturday for just Academy members, so kind of a live stream so you can ask me questions in real time. And you get personalized support from me beyond that, so please go check it out. All right, so we are in standard tuning, so nothing to do there. And let's jump into this main riff. They vary this slightly throughout the song, but they do kind of have this main way of playing it for most of the song. And that's what we're gonna do here. So we're gonna start here with this. So it's based around let me turn this delay off. It's based around a B minor chord. So yeah, you don't have to hold the full bar. You really just need the 4th strings in the middle here. So the 2nd fret there on the A, 4th on the D and the G, and 3rd on the B. All right, so what you're gonna do is pick across those. So I'm picked from the A string all the way to the D, the G, all the way up to the B. Then go back down to the G string, and then the D string. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick the G string open. So when you have that open G, that gives you time to go and grab the next chord. So we have this. So when you have that open G ringing, you're gonna come over and grab the 3rd fret on the low E and the 2nd fret on the A. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick across from the 6th string all the way to the 3rd string. So E, A, D, G. So we have this. And then we're gonna go to the A sus2 chord. So this is pretty similar to an A major chord. And then the chords that you're gonna hear strummed over that, like after 2 times of playing this riff, you hear some chords come in, which I'll talk about those. They're actually strumming an actual full A major, not an A sus2. But here for the actual arpeggiated picking part that you hear mostly, it's gonna be an A sus2. So what that is just the open A string, 2nd fret there on the D, 2nd fret on the G, and then the B string is open. That B, open B, is what makes it a sus2. So we have this. And then we're gonna start back over with that same figure that we did on the B. Same thing. So the riff is basically going to be what we just did there 3 times first. And then the 4th time through, there's going to be a little variation. So that little ending was different. So it started the same there. So this is the 4th time through here. So that much of it's the same when you get to that open G string. And then you're going to go and hold the same G chord underneath it, but you don't need that note on the A string. You're just going to basically hold the 3rd fret on the low E, then pick the open D, open G, and the open B. And then you're gonna hit the open A string, then the open high E, open B, and the open G. So hit this. So all together, 4 times through the riff. That ending is the last time through is the only one that variation happens. All right, now after you play that riff twice, you're gonna hear some chords, strummed chords that come in. There's like a guitar, acoustic and electric guitar kind of strum it. But it looks like this. So you hear that come in over it, the 3rd and 4th time through. So it starts with that B minor, but just kind of, this is based around a B minor, but what you hear strummed when it comes in is you hear a B sus2 with a kind of strummed up with an upstroke, kind of everything strummed upward. So that's just a bar at the 2nd fret there. And then you have, instead of the 3rd fret there on the B, you just let that be part of the 2nd fret there, so it's part of the bar. And then the 4th fret there on the G, 4th on the D. Now, also what they will do a lot in the song is whenever they're playing this B chord, they put the F sharp in the bass, which is really probably a little bit later. So you can do that here if you want, or you can just kind of keep it 5 strings, so stopping at the A string, just like that. And then it goes to a G. So this G can be like a G power chord. So it's the 3rd fret there on the low E, mute that A string with the bottom of that finger, then open D, open G, 3rd fret there on the B and the high E, and then to an A major chord. And then the 2nd time through, when you come back around to start the B chord, the B chord, you do the full B minor, and then kind of strong roll, just kind of downward, and then back to the G and the A. So then the vocals come in after that. So we basically have this. And then the vocals come in with this same riff that we did before. Remember, the 4th time's a little bit different. And then after that first verse, basically is just playing through that 4 times. We had this little, I just call it kind of a transition riff. And it has a little melody that's over it too. So the transition riff is basically just like this. And then it gets back to verse 2. So there's a little transition from the first verse back to the 2nd verse. And that's just that B minor chord. So this one though, is when you're gonna add that F sharp in the bass. So it's a full bar, all 6 strings at the 2nd fret. And then in front of that, the 3rd fret there on the B, 4th fret on the G, and 4th fret there on the D. You're gonna strum that, and then just move up to the 3rd fret. So you still have a full bar, and then you take these fingers that you're playing on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings, just move them up 1 string each. Same exact pattern. So that's the 4th fret on the G, 5th on the D, and 5th on the A. And that's a G major chord, and then move that up 2 frets to an A major. So this. Now there's a little melody that happens on top of that. I'll cover that. And the 2nd time you do this section, the melody is slightly different, but the melody looks like this. And then that leads us back into verse 2. So most of that melody, really except for 1 note, is on the G string. Hit that 4th fret a couple times, then 6, 7, the 9, 7, 6. So this. And then you're going to come down to the 7th fret on the D. So it's the only note that's on the D string. And then back to 6, 4 on the G. So this. Here, we're going to go back up again. So that's going to start here at the 4th fret again. So this is the second half of it. A couple times on the 4th fret there. Then 6, 7, slide up to 14, still on the G string. 12, 11, 9, 11. And then verse 2 comes in there. Now the verse 2 is like slightly different. As they start getting to the later verses, instead of doing the whole thing 4 times through, or with that ending, that variation, they put the variation on the 2nd time and the 4th time through. So they just kind of liven it up. They're just kind of building the track as it goes. This second verse is slightly different. It looks like this. At the end there. So we basically, it's the same riff the first time through. So this is verse 2 we're talking about. And then when you come to do the riff the second time, there's a little variation that happens only one time in the song. It looks like this. So that ending starts with the same B minor to the open G. And then here we're going to have this. 3rd fret on the low E, open D, open G, open B, then the open A. And then we're going to play the open B string, open high E, and then back to the open B. So that's the only time you hear that I picked it up in the song. So we basically have this. And then it starts now, the 3rd time through is just like the first. And then the 4th time through is like the 4th time through in the original, the first verse. All right, so now coming out of verse 2, we have our first chorus. We're gonna rock it out a little bit. So kick up the distortion, and we have this. All right, so that's gonna start with this B power chord, which has the F sharp in the bass. So that's that 2nd fret across the low E and the A. 4th fret there on the D and the G. So it's kind of more, I don't like playing it. Live, you see one of the guitar players play it kind of like, it doesn't sound that aggressive on the recording. It sounds more like kind of like a little muted hits in it. And then it goes to this G power chord. So the power chord off the 3rd fret of the low E string. Kind of lightens up the rhythm there, let it ring. Then up to the 5th fret for the A power chord. So it's, and then back to that B power chord with the F sharp in the bass. Then the E power chord, open E, so open E string power chord. And then the 2nd fret power chord, the F sharp power chord off the 2nd fret of the low E. So we have this all together. Repeat. All right, from there we get back to that transition section that we did before, which was just that B chord strummed to a G to an A with that little melody over it. It's pretty much that same section again. The melody is slightly different. The very beginning of the melody is slightly different. I think the end of it's the same. So you can kind of play like we did the first one. No need to kind of do anything new with that one. But then we get to verse number 3. So now verse number 3 is The way I can explain it is like it's the normal way of playing the riff, which like when the first verse, when we did the just like that. And remember the variation that we did the fourth time through? That comes next. So it's the normal way of playing it, then the variation. Then the normal way of playing it, then the variation again. So it goes back and forth between the two. So it is normal, then the variation. Repeat all that. And then that takes us back to the same chorus again. So nothing new to learn there for that chorus. But coming out of that chorus, we have not really a guitar solo. It's more like a guitar melody that's being played that is brought back in at the end of the song with a slight variation at the end. So you can see it as the solo or whatever. Now, underneath that solo, it's basically kind of like the chords of the chorus without any kind of real rhythm, just kind of hitting each chord once and letting it ring. So what's going on underneath that solo, underneath that melody looks like this. Sound a lot better with some distortion, so let's put some distortion on it. Looks like this. So it's just like that. You already know the chorus, just hit them each one and let them ring. So it's just the chords, the chorus. All right, so let's look at that melody. So that melody is going to be played the first time like this, and there's going to be a variation of it that we're going to do in a second. So it looks like this. So that's going to start here at the second fret of the A string. 2, 4, so. Then up to 5, back to 4, 5, 4. Then slide into 7, 5, 4, then 5, 4, over to 5 on the low E string. So it is. And then we're gonna go, kind of, the first time especially, he does it a little aggressively. Kind of playing between 7 and 5 on the low E, but he puts a little rhythm in it. And then he goes over to, so that's going to be 5, 7 repeated on the A string. Like 4 times. Kind of alternate pick that. And then 4, 5 done the same. So 4, 5. So this. Repeat. And just end it with that B power chord. And it takes us to a bridge part here that the chords, I call it a bridge, even though it's kind of like a verse again, but to me it's a bridge because the chord progression is different from the previous verses. And it's very similar, except they just reverse to the chords. So instead of going to, the B minor to the G to the A, it reverses this bridge. So coming out of that first solo, the first guitar melody, it's a B minor, then the A, then the G, and then you repeat that. So that's kind of like the basic underlying. It's just those 3 chords that are repeated, and there's a ton of guitar fills. There's guitars that are arpeggiated to picking it, and there's clean guitars, there's acoustic guitars, there's guitars strumming it. So really the best bet to kind of make something sound similar is 1, play the chords kind of like this, like bar chord. So first that B minor, then that A major here is the full bar at the, we did that earlier, at the 5th fret, and then the G. So that's the underlying harmony of it. And then kind of strum them and pick across them, kind of like this. Kind of nothing that succinct to it, just I kind of mix it all up just across those 3 chords. So that's kind of the best way to really attack that bridge if you don't have 16 guitar players in your band, which I hope you don't. Anyway, so then it gets back into the chorus again. So same chorus that we did before, and then it goes back into that guitar melody to end the song. And the guitar melody is slightly different than what we heard earlier in the song. So the guitar melody now sounds like this. All right, and then it ends. The song ends on that beat. So it's the same melody for the first time through. Then the second time through is when the variation comes in. So it starts the same to there, but instead of sliding to the 7th fret, it slides all the way up to the 9th. Then 7, 5, 4, back to 5, and back to 5, then over to 5 on the low E. So it is. And then from there, the riff's the same. And then end it, the whole song on that B power chord. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a massive song, and it's taken me a while to get around to it, but we have done it now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.